Hello. Today we're talking about terror, ITP, and their uses in competitive domination. As is natural, this video is mostly geared toward domination, but it could help you out in land battles or campaign as well. So, terror and ITP. First off, let's start with what is terror and what does it do. So terror is this funky little ability right here that many big monsters and single entity characters have. It's right here. It says units can cause terror, making its melee target rout for a short time. Units cause terror, immune to terror, and fear themselves. They also cause fear, which is just a normal leadership debuff, not too much to talk about there. So, the way terror works is that when a unit gets low on leadership, I believe it's around 12 or 13, if they are fighting a unit that causes terror, they will immediately break en route. And to set this up, we've got a little example here. We've got a Marauder Berserker versus Goblin, two of them. Then we've got Aspect of the Dread Knight, a spell that imbues terror, which will cast on these guys right here, and you'll see just how much faster the goblins fighting a terror-causing marauder flee compared to the goblins that aren't terrified. So these guys are getting somewhat low on leadership. We pop Aspect of the Dread Knight, and the goblins are running for the hills straight away. Now, terror routes only last for a few seconds, but they very often turn into normal routes as now they're being attacked in the rear, they're being chased, they're in melee. So they are actually not going to come back at all, despite the terror route itself only lasting a few seconds. The other goblin, the one that isn't terror route, is still fighting and will continue to fight for far longer than the one that was terrified. This means that by terror routing your opponent's units, you're effectively denying them a lot of the combat effectiveness of the unit that has been terrified. Because without the terror, they'd keep fighting for a lot longer, they'd do more damage, they'd hold space a lot longer. But now that they're terrified, they can't do any of that. And these guys are still running, and these guys are still fighting. Just look at the difference. Now, the natural counter to terror is an ability called ITP, or Immune to Psychology, which is something that this guy right here, the Blackrock Big Boss, imbues to his nearby allies. So we're going to show you the same test, but this time the goblins will have Immune to Psychology. So we got the same fight, only now these goblins have the Rabble Rouse effect, so they are immune to Psychology, so despite Aspect of the Dread Knight coming down, they still rout only after taking sufficient damage and leadership debuffs. They don't terror out at all, and they hold for quite some time. Now, a very common tactic you'll see in Domination, as well as I suspect other game modes as well, is to have a terror-causing flying character or fast character. Manticores are very nice for this, as well as things like Be'lakor or Malekith, or those dragon characters. And that is to combine terror routes with attack in the rear leadership penalties to actually rout enemies off very quickly. So you just get your flying character, you charge them in the rear, and these goblins are just gone. I scuffed that a little bit there, it was a little bit late, but that's the idea of it. Now, why is this useful in competitive domination? Well, as you saw in the first test, the goblins that terror routed basically didn't hold nearly as long as their opponents. So if you're playing a defensive faction, having a terror-causing monster on your front line means that your enemy's frontline units coming at you are going to leave a lot sooner, and that'll keep your own units a lot healthier. On the flip side, if you're playing an aggressive faction, you're trying to break into that opponent's backline, being able to tear out their units and make holes in their line faster will actually allow you to get on top of their missile units in the backline and compromise whatever it is they're keeping safe in the backline. Or even just in a melee mirror, just having your units be more efficient by having better leadership effectively and fighting longer will just net you an increase in value trading, allow your units to stay healthier, and overall give you a more favorable trade. So that's a brief look at terror and ITP in domination. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.